What's going on, guys? I feel like I haven't posted much about what's going on with the car in quite some time, so I decided to stop where I was at on getting it ready for the year and just start filming and documenting the rest and making videos, because why not? It's fun. I've been having fun with getting it ready for the year, so I figured why not, take some clips and share what I've been doing and all the headaches I've been running into, in case anybody else has the same problems, and hopefully I can help them out, or vice versa. So yeah, let's get into what I haven't posted about that I have done to the car since anybody else has seen. So I put the livery and skirts on during GAT of last year, 2024 GAT. These are Mode Parfum skirts that are off of, I can't tell you what, honestly, I have no idea. Maybe they're for an LS400 with another kit on there. I'm not sure, but I had to do a lot of fabbing and custom work to get these things to fit. Had to cut off a whole block section here and shave off. I had to do the same up front, and I had to shave the hell out of my door panel to where it's doing a funky thing to my front one. It's catching the front right here and ripping my door panel off like that. So I have to figure out a way to get that to stay now, because the clips are, I think, broken, and the only way to get new clips is to get a whole new door. But yeah, I feel like they fit decently, honestly, when it doesn't catch on the door panel. But yeah, I mean, I feel like they fit decently for my first time trying to do any custom-ish work. Front door's not closed, that's why it's fitting a little wonky. Another big thing I haven't posted, I am back on air again for the second time, but this time I decided to go with the 3P air management system, not that crappy Vera manual management stuff that kept giving me problems last time. So I got a 3P management system off of my buddy, got lucky with that, he hooked me up, and then I went with the C2B suspension conversion, which is a coil to bag conversion on the BC coils that I had. So you go to C2B suspension. They're great, by the way. Look them up if you want a cheaper way to bag your car. Type in your year, make, model, whatever brand coilovers you have, and then they will mail it out. It'll be threaded to whatever coils you have. Take your spring off, screw the bag on, O-rings and whatnot, lock it back on, and you just throw the strut back in and then hook the airline up like you're doing an air strut. So it's super simple, and yeah, that's what it's on right now. It is currently on air, bagged with a C2B conversion, bags on my BC coils. But it's me, so things didn't go too smoothly. The BCs that I got were used on 40K springs. The kid told me that they had about 12,000 miles on them. So 12,000 miles with 40Ks. Struts are probably blown or on their way to be blown. I threw the bags on the front, and the front was not airing up properly. I raised the collar all the way up to where there was this many threads left. This many threads left from maxing out the front coil. And I was at 125 pounds. And if you are on air ride, 125 pounds, you should have a decent amount of wheel gap. That should be like super high setting. Well, the bag was all twisted and wonky and would not just air up properly under the load of the car. I get it. LS400 is a very heavy car. It's almost 5,000 pounds, but it still shouldn't be like that. It wasn't like that on my manual setup. So I talked to C2B conversion about what they thought. I was like, hey, is this common? He's like, that's when he gave me the thought of, hey, maybe your front struts are blown. I was like, damn it. So my only other option was to, I was like, oh man, do I get airlift struts? What am I gonna do? Those are 1,000 for each side. It's a lot. So he also said that Rev 9 thread pitch is the same as BC's. So I went ahead and bought the Rev 9 coils. They should be coming sometime today. So we're going to get into that. I'll probably put that in another video, and hopefully, fingers crossed, that solves all my problems, and the car should be ready to go within a week. I have ASM Jersey coming up in less than a month, so gotta crank it out. Before the car's up in the air and I can show you everything I did so far under the car, I'll show you what I've done out of the car. So my old trunk setup was, it was boring. It was just that laminate from Home Depot that you get, you know, nothing special, with my compressor tucked under and my tank up top. That was it, because there was no management with manual. So this time I went with a nice brown diamond stitch. It's a little darker in person, you can't really tell on camera, but it's a little different of a contrast from the brown on the car. So I wanted to run a sub again, because, you know, why not? So I cut a porthole out of the MVF and then put the sub in there, and then I drilled slants at an angle here for the airline to come up. But that's not it. This isn't the whole setup here. Let me show you what else I have working. All right, it's a whole mess right now. But yeah, this is gonna be it. So this is the top piece right here that's gonna sit on top of that trunk piece. So it's kind of like a pedestal. So it's a little raised up. I just used some 2x4s and stuff, drilled it in. So it's gonna sit above the other piece. So the sub's gonna be under here. So it's gonna sit over top of the sub. The airline's gonna go down and under behind the sub. And then same with the management wire here. So maybe I'll do, I don't know, maybe some LED lights under here. I don't know yet, but we'll worry about that when the time comes. I just want to get the car on the road driving, and that's it. So today's project is get the amp wired up. I had some problems. I tried to tie the remote wire for the amp and air setup together. That didn't work. So I had to run a whole different remote wire all the way to the front to a separate fuse, and we're gonna try that out and make sure it gets power. So fingers crossed you guys are with me on this. You're tied in now. Oh yeah, also wanted to add in that I added a hot block here. So the main one up there with the copper wire that's coming off the battery. The second one here is going to the air setup. And the third one's going to be the amp. Ignore how it's set up right now. I'm just gonna test if all the wires work and has power when I turn the key on. All right, first things first, slip the kill switch back on. I don't drive this thing enough, so I wired a kill switch into the battery so I could just flip it off so it's not draining when I'm not driving it. Wire is in here. The one for the air is gonna be the radio fuse, and the one for the amp is going to be the circuit lighter fuse. So fingers crossed it turns on. All right, so let's take the key. Just a on for the accessory to turn on and see if the amp is getting power. Radio kicked on. Let's see. Oh yeah, baby. Let's go. All right, so now we know that that fuse is good and all the wiring is good. So I'm going to probably replace the wires, the power wires, extend them, drill holes here, and then have the amp mounted here. And then the pedestal that I built is going to sit over top of the amp, so you're never even gonna see it, and it'll be a totally clean setup. Another thing I wanted to add in, since I did this as a single big piece of MDF, I had to cut a section off to get it to fit in the trunk. What we're gonna do is peel this back, set the MDF piece down, and then just have that sit over top of it, and you will never know. In case I need to pull this piece out of the trunk to do anything underneath and whatnot, just to make it easier. And it's the only way it would fit. So, hey. All right, so we got where we want the amp to sit. Under here, it's gonna hug that left riser. So right about here, I made a marker where I'm going to drill in the holes for the power, negative, and remote wire. It's gonna come down underneath and tap into the power, ground, and everything else ran underneath. So it's gonna be a pretty clean setup, even though you're not gonna see it underneath the pedestal, but you know, gotta make it mean, gotta make it clean. All right, so we relocated the hot block to here instead of on the ground here. For whatever reason, whenever it rains, the bottom of my trunk gets a little wet, like the felt and the liner of the trunk is wet, but not the sides, not the top, nothing. So I don't know if it's a drain tube or some sort of problem with the seal that the bottom is getting wet. So I'm just gonna try and get everything off so nothing's really on this lower part right here. So I raised the hot block up and the reason it looks like this is because the whole harness for 3P is back here because I had a positive and negative and remote already ran to the trunk from my old air setup. So I didn't need to run anything all the way to the battery. That's what the hot block's for. This is running into here. That's running all the way up to the battery. So all my power and everything is here. Didn't have to run the whole harness up to the front, which was a lifesaver. And now I just have a little bit of rat's nest that I have to zip tie and clean up back here. It's not much, it's all going to be hidden, but a lot to work around when you're trying to do something else right now. So unfortunately I have used these grounds way too many times, so they're a little reamed out. I'll probably use silicone to seal these up so no more water gets in. So I'm going to start a new ground spot over here. Like I said, it's not a show car and it's not your car. Ye old trusty 150 grit will get it down bare metal, so I have that good solid connection for a ground. Beautiful. All right, so we drill all 3 holes. Bing, bing, bing. Positive, ground, remote. Just zip tied up the harness right there. Get that out of the way. Boom. Little less of a rat's nest. We got the ground. I found an extended piece, crimped a little bit, put a little crimper on here. Found a ring terminal, squished that so that I could just shove it in the amp. Probably not the safest option. We're gonna run with it. Next is drilling the amp to here. Well, it started raining. I think it should clear up after those clouds right there. I had to just shove what I had done in the trunk because I don't want the amp to get ruined with the rain. Everything else is over here under this pretty shaded tree, and nothing's got wet. A little spots, but I'll just throw the my shirt over top of the management right there. So we're good. On TikTok, all these girls are like, come with me to do this, come with me to do that. I'm just here like, come with me and try not to get crushed by my trunk setup or stabbed by all of the screws that I put to hold my sub in. Since Airlift likes to put which port order is on the very bottom, I'm going to take a piece of painter's tape across here and write what order they are, like rear right, rear left, all that good stuff on the top, so that way when I pull the airline up, I'll know which order to put them in. Because I label the lines, but there's no way of me seeing underneath here to see which order it's in. As many times as I've done this, I should know by now, but I don't. That was easy. Front left, front right, rear left, rear right. Tank, I already checked that off because that's already connected. And exhaust. I've literally just been having it come out of the manifold, but I think I want to do one coming down here. I'll drill a hole in the spare tire well and just have it dump under the car, so I can have that outside of the car atmospheric air out sound. Cliche. Whatever. Good news is the sub works and it sounds crazy from the outside and pretty good on the inside, honestly. The trunk's open right now, so I don't get that full sound experience, but when the trunk's closed and you're inside the car, it sounds pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. Not bad for a little setup. Didn't cost me any extra. I already had the sub-in amp from my previous vehicle, so threw it in here. Well, after hours of battling everything, I finally got everything hooked back up. Tested the sub, haven't tested the air yet. I am completely out of gas. I am still running off of the tank of gas that I got in Gatlinburg back in October. I haven't driven the car. I've driven the car from my house I was living at then to where I am now, which is 5 minutes up the street, and that is all I've driven the car since October. I'm not lying. So it ran out of gas the other day when I was testing the air setup and trying to figure out what was going on with the fronts. So I need to fill up the gas and actually get it running, I guess, to really test everything, because it's going to do the wattage thing if I just have it on ignition and try and get everything to air up. But here it is. everything looks awesome. I'm probably gonna put something here to hide that. Maybe I'll make something up. Maybe I gotta clip these up, get these done a little neater and better looking. But I am extremely proud of myself, honestly. I've never done anything like this. It's nothing crazy, but it's something I can say I did myself. All right, I'm realizing now as I'm done editing this video that I never made an outro. So thank you guys so much for checking this out if you made it this far. I just wanted to have fun, you know, filming some stuff, what I got going on with the car and everything I have going on forth. I'll try and get some clips and throw them together for the people that actually care to watch this. I look up to a lot of YouTubers, think their videos are fun and interesting to watch, so hopefully some people think the same about these. So on to the next part of the car. See you there.